Hi, everyone. I'm Lily,
And hi, everyone. I'm Lauren.
and
And
welcome.
welcome to the Light and Laugh podcast.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're trying something a little bit different. We hope you guys like it. Tell us what you think. We are not going to do our big intro that we used to do and hopefully get right to it, right to this.
Right to the good stuff. Let's get to the juicy stuff. We got some new microphones. Can you hear us
Yes, we
better?
do.
Check mic. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Next video will have different quality of image for me, so don't mind the image today, guys, but listen to my voice.
Oh, listen to her voice.
Because the message is what's important. We wanted to upgrade ourselves just a little bit so that you guys really got a clear message. We know that it wasn't as clear the other videos, so we are back. We are upgraded,
We are
and then my image.
evolving, right? Just like we
Exactly.
are talking about evolution and
Exactly.
progression. So did
Exactly.
our technology.
And part of that evolution is getting rid of this.
Yup. Why did we have to upgrade our technology? Because we felt. Wait. Guys, I'm just trying to figure out the camera.
The pressures we feel. Um, we wanted to talk to you guys today. We've been
This is gonna be
laughing
a good
on
one,
here
guys.
for about an hour. Lauren and I were not supposed to be recording, but I pushed record anyway previous to this. And we have a lot of joy. And we're going to share some of that joy with you, but we're going to talk about some serious stuff, which is the pressures that we feel, not only from society, but the pressures we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
And just to get started, Lauren, when you hear this, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, I think I'm speaking for myself, but I think the first thing that initially comes to my mind is comparing myself and my timeline to others. And not only feeling the pressures of society of where I am supposed to be at my age and whatever, but also putting pressure on myself because maybe I'm comparing myself and I'm not at that place, but I want to be at that place.
Mhm.
So I would say the first thing that came to mind is comparison. And that's
Okay.
something that I think we should all be trying to just steer away from, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
it's almost toxicity if
Yeah.
you're constantly comparing.
I agree. And one of the things, the first thing that comes to mind with comparing is probably the main place that we get something to compare to, which is social media.
Of
That's
course.
the first place that my mind goes to. Okay, where are we really comparing ourselves or comparing our lives? I scaled back a lot for that reason. And
Me
I
too.
don't know if you noticed throughout the years, but I used to post a lot, and I I was posting because you felt this pressure
Mhm.
to keep sharing your life. And I think people might think that because I'm not posting, I'm not doing, but I am still living my
Still every
life.
day.
I'm still having these moments that I capture because I love taking
Mhm.
pictures. So
Mhm.
for me, taking pictures was not about social media, it was about capturing a
The
moment.
moment, yes.
So I used to do that in high school when I had my little digital camera that you couldn't see the image on, but I used to
Yes.
take hundreds of pictures every day in high school.
Oh,
Hundreds.
wow. Oh, girl, you
And
were earthy from the beginning before social media was here. You was already laying the template out.
so I love taking pictures, but then we have to tell ourselves that doesn't mean we need to maybe then put it out to the universe, that then it's up for comparison.
I will say when you just said that comment, something came into my head and said, sometimes we should protect some of those moments for
Yeah.
ourselves and keep
Yes.
those precious memories for ourselves. Not everything is for the gram or for the social media.
Oh, and I can tell you, I used to before I started doing this where I post less. But even within that, I was posting so much of my public self because I felt the pressure for
Mhm.
work. So I would keep a lot of things private, but I was still posting a lot. But I have to say, with what you said, the pressures, one of the main pressures that comes to mind to me is the pressure that I used to feel so much more before, which was where I was in life, like you said, for my
Mhm.
age.
Yeah.
And both of us, I think we're a perfect example. And I'm sure a lot of people will relate with us with we're in our 30s.
Mhm.
We don't have kids.
Nope.
We're not married. I
Married.
do have a longtime partner, but I'm not married. Where for me, it's the pressure of why have you been married so long and you're not,
But
not
also
together,
your
but not
culture
married.
too. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
Latinas are supposed to be married at like 22.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And you're not supposed to maybe live together and not be married,
Mhm.
whatever. All these things that people tell us and that we keep in our head. And I think it's really hard. I think it's really hard to get rid of those and to dissolve them. I don't know if you have anything or any point that you reached where you were able to get rid of some of those?
Well, actually, I'm on that path as we speak. So, as you have been watching my stories, I have been showing up every day trying to just post my journey with the 75 hard challenge that I'm still participating in. And in the beginning, I had the pressure of I want to show them only the good parts. I only want to show them, right, how it's easy. You show up and you do the walk and you do your workout. And no, but there were days, if you remember looking at my story, I had to show up authentically and say, today's hard. Like
Yeah.
today, I don't know how I'm going to get it done. Like I'm keeping it up. So I'm going through the phases of trying to clear out the pressures because
Okay.
my main priority is protecting my peace, right?
Yes.
Prioritizing my peace above everything else, right? And pressures disturb our peace. Do
Yeah.
they not? I mean, there, of course, there are pressures because you feel an external force or even an internal force of having to either show up a certain way, deliver
Mhm.
something a certain way, be a certain person. Okay.
And the majority of the time, they're not real.
No, and that's what I'm learning is it's in life, maybe society has normalized putting on a superficial facade and making it right, fake it till you make it, that whole statement, I think it's
Mhm.
gotten a little bit exaggerated, and
Yeah.
now I feel people are living their lives just to make it look nice, where they're
Yeah.
not really focusing on how can I be a better person every day? Like, how can I
Yeah.
show up and utilize these pressures that I feel and turn them into something positive for myself
Yeah.
instead of, oh, okay, I feel the pressure of I have to be with a guy. I'm 30 years old. I need to be married with a kid
Mhm.
and, in a relationship. So let me just put up a post of me with this guy or me out with on a date, right?
Mhm.
But no, instead changing that perspective of, okay, I feel that pressure of I need to be married, I need to be with kids, I need to whatever. And how can I learn something about myself, right? And how do I utilize that pressure to see the lesson learned? And I know that's so hard because I feel like you have to go through that experience to look back and then find out the
Mhm.
lesson.
Mhm.
But I think taking off that really heavy weight of pressures that just sit on your shoulder, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And you're like, I have to, for example, I have to do taxes, right? I am a tax
Mhm.
accountant. People have pressure on me to file their taxes on time. Now, I feel that pressure. It's an external force, but it's also an internal pressure because I said, hey, I'm a tax accountant. I can do your taxes, right?
Mhm.
Now I've created this pressure on myself. I also
Mhm.
have external pressure. But now, how can I turn that into something positive? Okay. One, I can learn, listen, we're not going to procrastinate anymore. That's something that I used to do. I know that from my own personal previous experience. I'm a procrastinator. I like to wait until
Mhm.
the end to do things. Well, out of all of my lessons previously learned, I can apply that to this new pressure to
Yeah.
maybe make this pressure a little bit easier so I don't feel so much of the pressure, right? So again, maybe not procrastinating, maybe being more on top of it, maybe making that
Mhm.
to-do list of things I gotta get done every day. And that's one thing that I'm striving for, is really trying every day to accomplish as many tasks. Not saying do it all. If
Mhm.
my task, if I feel today I need to rest,
Yeah.
then that's what I want to honor. But I also really want to honor, if I'm feeling good and I'm feeling motivated and I'm
Yes.
feeling dedicated, like,
Do it.
what can I get done today? You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I think that helps with the pressures, is kind of
I
giving
love
yourself
that
both.
you just brought up the part of how am I feeling today, because if you remember, we told each other we wouldn't give each other pressure over
Mhm.
shooting our
This
podcast.
content.
And we hadn't been able to shoot an episode in a while. Whenever this episode comes out, obviously it's not going to make any sense, but we hadn't shot an episode in a while. And Lauren still kept feeling some pressure,
Yeah.
maybe not to shoot, but maybe to post. And I kept feeling that pressure too because our Instagram was a little abandoned.
Mhm.
But that's the perfect example of, even when we told ourselves we're not going to
So
put pressure on ourselves,
we still
we
felt
feel
it
it.
internally,
We
right?
feel and we create our own pressures. We create our own stress. But it's no one else is putting that
No
pressure
one.
on us.
And you even
No
made it
one.
clear. You almost reassure me every single time.
Yeah.
Like, girl, it's not pressure. It's not when we're
Yeah.
meant to do it. It's supposed to happen. And although that is very
I
reassuring
think
and
we're
makes me feel
programmed.
good, it is. It's society. And one
Yeah.
thing I have to say is, I'm going to bring my book in because, girl, always reading, right? Everything is Fucked by our lovely man, Mark Manson. It's a book about hope, though. Hope.
Okay.
So it's a great,
Oh,
great
wait, what is
title.
that?
Great, interesting title. Anyway, what I really wanted to say was, you said nobody's causing this pressure except us.
Yeah.
And that is what that book is discussing, is we create our own pressures, because we
Mhm.
live in a great society. We are blessed to live in a first world developed country, okay, where we have first world problems, okay? There are
Yeah.
actual people who are hungry, who do not have electricity, who do not have
Mhm.
guaranteed home and shelter, okay?
Mhm.
And here we are upset because our mic quality, it doesn't sound
Mhm.
right, or because we didn't get on and shoot a podcast, right?
Yeah.
But the book also says something like, it's because our brain is programmed to always find something wrong. We have to be wrong. That's why the book is called Everything is Fucked, right? I'm sorry, bleep. But because you could have everything perfect, we are programmed to look for something to cause us issues or to cause our own stress.
Do you really believe that? Do you really believe we're all programmed?
I mean, I definitely think that society has, or there's a normalized societal standard, right? So,
Yeah.
like, you probably feel, and I'd love to have people in the comments below, if you're sitting on your booty for 4 days straight watching just Netflix, which Netflix, you could sponsor me, I'll do it. But wouldn't you feel a little lazy? Wouldn't you feel a little unproductive? Why? Because society has made those structures, those standards, it's normalized to call somebody lazy
Mhm.
if they don't do anything, right? If they're just sitting there doing
Yes.
nothing.
But if you remember, I went through my own stages and I was able to let go of a lot of that because of my health, because I couldn't get up. So I was able to let go of
That pressure.
that specific pressure that you just described, of what I used to think was lazy. I agree with
Mhm.
you. If somebody previous would have told me, this girl just lies in bed all day, and I'd be like, "Really? You look fine. Really? You can't get
Like,
up?"
you're lazy, get up. Like,
Yes. I would have been like, "Why aren't you doing more with your day?"
But
But
so
then you
mhm.
have to realize that is that person's journey.
Okay, agreed, 1000%. But
Yeah.
you have to realize that you had to go through that experience to then
Yeah.
change your perspective.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes,
Because if
yes.
not, if you didn't go through that experience, you would have still to this day been like, that girl's been laying in bed for how many days now?
Mhm.
Like, she's got nothing better with her life to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not the truth. So what I'm saying is we create our own pressures,
Mhm.
but our experiences will
Yeah.
change our perspective on those
Yes.
pressures. So we
Exactly.
will have pressures no matter what. We have to
Mhm.
embrace those pressures, okay?
Yeah.
Because pressures help. What pressures are is another fancy word to say growth,
Yeah.
okay? Development.
Mhm.
So you're feeling pressure. Why? Because you got to get something done. Why? Because it's probably going to make you a better person, right? Like, whatever.
But I also believe there's pressures that we need to dissolve.
I'm here for that. I'm big into that. I want to say those are like beliefs. Those are like limiting beliefs. What do you think about
Exactly. But I think they present themselves as pressures.
that? Because we don't see them as beliefs. Something happened to us when we were younger, okay, that made us form this limiting belief in our head.
They programmed us.
Same, yeah. Okay, so like something happened when I was a child, and it made me feel that I was, let's say, not worthy. Let's just use this as an
Mhm.
example, okay? And now I have continued to use that unworthy limiting belief.
Mhm.
Why? Because it has in some way protected me. Okay,
Yeah.
you have to honor these beliefs. Although we may grow out of them and change through them, they're in our lives for a reason. And at that time, it did something to help us, right?
Mhm.
So that is one thing I have to say is even learning how to honor the pressures, the anxiety, the
Mhm.
uncomfortable feelings,
Mhm.
every one of those things, every one of those experiences is a lesson learned. It is
Yeah.
an insight to who you are more. And I think it just needs to be embraced more. I wish it didn't have such a negative connotation. When you say the word pressure, you think negative, right?
I think yes, some will present themselves that way. I think there's so many different kinds. So we're kind of just putting it in one category. But there are negative pressures. There are positive pressures. I think we can after that put them in their own category and give them their own word. Like you said,
Mm,
one of the pressures goes to be a belief, the other one goes to be growth. So
mm.
I think in their basic form, they are all pressures. And
Yeah.
then and then when we evolve and we can see them in a different way, we can see one is not real and it doesn't exist. The other one is having us strive to be better.
Mhm.
So I think there's so many different forms of them, but with the limiting beliefs, I think you just brought up something really important, which was you got yourself in a safe space.
Yeah.
And sometimes because of those pressures, we get ourselves in those safe spaces. And
I
we
think
don't and
yeah.
we don't move on because there's the pressure to continue this image. There's a pressure to continue to be what you have presented yourself to be and not
Hold
change.
on. But who created that pressure?
Society and you.
I was gonna say you have showed up as this person. So
Yeah.
now you're creating that pressure to continue to
But
focus and be that person.
sometimes society pressures you to keep showing up as that person.
I mean, I
And
could
that
definitely see that 100%.
and that's the part where when we grow, there's pressure. There's pressure because those around us might not be comfortable with our
Growing with
growth
us. Yes, exactly.
and our vibration is not aligning to the person that they wanted us to stay.
So there's resistance because
Mhm.
now when we use a certain pressure to grow and develop personally, right? We might get external resistance. which also provides more external pressure
Mhm.
to be showing up as that other
Whole
person.
self.
But now that's where it is. I think we should really start with, you have to become self-aware. It all starts with self-awareness.
Mhm.
If you're able to determine what type of pressure is actually a limiting belief from maybe a programming that happened when you were a child, because it served its purpose to help you make you who you are today, or are you self-aware that this pressure you're feeling is actually something to push you to become a better person, to maybe develop a little bit better, stronger in whatever you're feeling this pressure in? I think that starts with self-awareness, and then you're able to, once you make that decision on what type of pressure it is, you're able to look at it a little differently. Um, Maybe have your own little internal dialogue. And I think that's one thing that is also important, is the internal dialogue. Your brain doesn't know what is not real and what is fake. So when you're saying things in your head, for your pressures, right? I'm feeling this pressure from outside that I have to be X, Y, and Z. Well, your brain is logging that subconsciously, subliminally. Like, your brain doesn't know that that's not real. So, the self-awareness also goes hand in hand with being self-aware of the thoughts that you're also saying. And your thoughts become your reality, which I feel like we've definitely said that on at least another
Mhm.
episode podcast. Um, and I just want to say that, like, pressures overall, even if they are limiting beliefs, even if they are personal development ones, it's how you use that pressure. How are
Mhm.
you going to use that pressure? Are you someone who's going to play victim mode and, oh,
Mhm.
God, life is after me, the world is after
Mhm.
me? Or can you
Mhm.
step
Mhm.
into your higher self and
Yes.
say to yourself, okay,
Yes.
I feel this pressure, but I'm going to use that. I'm going to turn that into something positive
Yes.
for myself, right? My plain example. We all know I sprained my ankle when I came back from
Mhm.
Bali, and girl was so sad. I could not shuffle. I could not walk. I don't know what it's like to sit still. Okay. As you guys can probably tell by my energy. But it took me going through that pain of not being able to walk, of having to sit in my bed. Okay. It took me that pressure of, I want to be working out. I want to be physically fit. I want to be able to shuffle dance again. Okay.
Mhm.
It took me that pressure of not being able to and having to sit in bed to make me now value my health and having a healthy body. Why? Because before I sprained my ankle, I didn't care if I had McDonald's, Burger King, and was however many pounds, because guess what? A girl could still walk, right? It didn't affect my
Mhm.
life. But as soon as
Mhm.
something affected my life in a negative way, it changes how I value something, right? And so, again, you have to kind of go through the pain, go through the pressure, embrace it, and then come out on the other side. And what can you appreciate from what you just went through? How can you, that horrible experience, that painful experience, what did you get out of that? Did I know when I was going through my sprained ankle that I was going to all of a sudden become a obsessed physical fitness person? No, no, no. If you know me, your girl does not like to do that. No. But
Okay.
now I'm obsessed with it. Why? Because I
Yeah.
went through that pain and I went through that pressure, and now I've changed my values, right? My values are now more aligned.
I love how you just put that, but I also want to acknowledge that you realized there needed to be change and you took action. But not everyone will.
N- And your timing, it's all about
Yes.
the divine timing.
You maybe had gotten other curveballs in the past that were
Oh, yeah.
minor. Maybe the universe had thrown little things here and there to try to make you change your lifestyle,
Mhm.
but they weren't big enough.
But for sure, like, I can attest to you, looking back, there were so many times I had been tested and not taking it
Mhm.
seriously, and so that was why, remember we had mentioned in a previous podcast, we said, "You have to learn the lesson or the lesson is going to keep on repeating,"
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Same, it's literally hand in hand, same
Or
situation.
it'll come back
It's
stronger
gonna
to
keep
make sure you
repeating.
really see it.
Amen, though. Like, I finally got the message from the divine saying, "Girl, stop
Yes.
being a fatty, go move your body."
But but what do you do now when those pressures show up from those people that expect the old Lauren?
So again, I told you from the beginning, I'm so into prioritizing my peace. And that is not me being disrespectful in any way to anyone because I value respect, right? And regardless, if you want me to show up as that old Lauren, I'm I'm here to serve my wants and needs and in a respectful way to everybody else, right? How do I handle the pressures of I kind of don't even really acknowledge it. I'm going to be honest. I'm showing up as me. I'm showing up as the new Lauren 2.0, and I'm either aligned for you or I'm not. And you're either going to come with me on my new journey or you're going to pull away. And that's okay because as we grow, we evolve, but the people who are meant to be in your life, just showing up as your authentic self, it's going to magnetize towards you. You know what I mean? Like people will be magnetically, energetically connected to you by you showing
I
up.
I think you just summed it up perfectly. You just said, if you show up as your authentic self, those who are supposed to be with you will be there, and those that aren't supposed to be there will not. So,
Period.
I think that's a great way to wrap up this concept of pressures. And whatever pressure, whoever is watching this, whatever pressure you in your life, and you feel it's not your authentic self, it's not your authentic self to be married, to have the house. There's people that decide not because of financial reasons that they want to rent their whole life.
Yeah.
That exist because they are comfortable with not having to own or take care of any of it and being
Yeah.
able to just be like, here, fix it, do this, it's not mine.
Exactly.
People are comfortable leasing a car their whole life.
Hmm.
People are comfortable not owning a car their whole life and not for financial reasons. So, yes, for many people, the goal is the car, the house, the marriage. But realize, is that your authentic self? Does your spirit, does your soul connect with that? Does it have value for you?
Does
And
it
if it
excite
doesn't,
you? I have to
yeah,
say, trust your gut. Does it
yeah,
excite you? If it doesn't,
yeah.
it's not for
And
you.
does it serve a purpose in your life? Does it get you
Mhm.
to the next step of your journey? Do you feel like there's anything there for you? I can tell you that my beliefs have changed just even from the last year of
Yep.
things that I put value on, that the universe told me, why?
Mhm.
Why are you putting value in it just because everyone else is?
And how many
Is there
times did you get
value?
tested? How many times did you have to be tested to find out, was this
Yeah,
really worth it? You know, is
yeah.
it really something?
And I've also heard this, and I will come back to you guys on this because I pretty much let go of most the beliefs that I held. But when you let go, the universe rewards you with something bigger than what you were even holding on to.
I
So,
love that, and if I could just intertwine real quick, my favorite affirmation for this
mhm,
is
mhm,
rejection is just redirection. It's
yes.
beautiful because if
Yeah.
this is not for you,
Mhm,
something bigger is coming. It's redirecting you into something
mhm.
better. So rejection, even though I don't like that word, but it goes
No.
flows so beautifully.
Mhm.
Rejection, or if it's not for you, is just redirection.
Yeah.
Again, it's all about changing that perspective,
Yes.
right?
Sometimes letting go could bring that thing to you. Sometimes letting go of that belief, letting go of that thought, if it was meant to be yours, that house, marriage, children, whatever it was, and especially children, that's a big pressure for a lot of couples, a lot of
Mhm.
married couples
Absolutely.
that a lot of people struggle to conceive now, and it's so
Yes.
common, and
I
they feel that pressure, and then people ask, and oh my god, are you still trying?
Mhm.
And it's such a personal thing, but people really get involved in your life when it comes to that, and I personally know a lot of people that have gone through this, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. People feel like they can just get in there.
Pry.
Yes. And I think as people on the outside, we need to let go of those pressures too and not ask ourselves, why is that person married or and doesn't have kids, or ask them, oh, are you trying to have kids? I think we need to just from even the outside let go of those pressures we put on other people.
Absolutely. Let go of the normalized societal standards.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
whole world is
Yeah.
evolving to
Yes.
another level or
Yeah.
dimension.
We don't
When
value the same stuff
Yeah, like
anymore.
those old school values. And although I still appreciate some old school
Yeah.
values, there's just, like you said, normalizing, asking people, so are you guys still trying? Like, mind your business, dude. Maybe I'm not even interested in having kids. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
what? But now I have to be asked, and I had to be put in this position where
Mhm.
now I have to come up with a fancy way of why I don't want to have kids. I have to tell you that
Mhm.
no, or now you put more pressure on me to
Knowing that you
want to have.
can't.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so. I do think that we should spread the light, spread the
Yeah.
love and the laughs,
Yeah.
right, and normalize changing our communication with people.
Mhm.
Changing small talk is not get to know somebody, not their details about what they're doing, but get to know who they are, what makes them tick,
Mhm.
what do they enjoy. And sometimes I think it's also important to embrace silence. I think a lot of people are so uncomfortable in silence that they will come up with anything to discuss and make small talk, which sometimes they don't think before they speak, and hence put those pressures on us
Mhm.
just because they're
Mhm.
trying to make small talk. But
Mhm.
when we, I think, look at getting to know somebody and really getting to know them, not just, I don't know, small talk, nonsense
Mhm.
details. I think that's a game changer as well for pressures. So it's, there are so many layers to this conversation and we can go
Mhm.
on for a while. But I just think that at the end of the day, pressures are affected by external, but internal, but
Yeah.
can be changed and transmuted into something positive by going through it and changing your perspective.
And
It's
always making sure it is your true self you're connecting to.
That's my biggest thing. My biggest 2024 energy
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
being my true, authentic self,
Mhm.
unfiltered, raw,
Mhm.
unedited. This is me. And I'm either for you or I'm not. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm okay
Mhm.
with that. And
Exactly.
at the end of the day, I only want the people in my life
That
who
want the real you.
who want the real me. Exactly.
Exactly.
And
Oh,
so
I love that. I think that's a great place to end. Do the hearts for us,
Can I
please. Send
can I
some
give us
love.
some hearts? Wait, give me hearts, give me hearts, give me hearts, give me hearts. Come on.
Is it because it's your desktop?
But we've done this before.
On the desktop, you did it?
Yeah,
I'm
it's still a
I'm
Mac. It's
still my
still a Mac.
Samsung LG person over here, so I will just send you guys love
All right. Well,
and some protection with the eye that I'm
what
wearing.
is she doing, girl?
It's this eye that I'm wearing.
Oh, the evil
Um,
eye. I love it. We call it the protective eye. Yes.
yes, that's why I said I'm gonna send you guys some protection.
I love
and
that.
some love. And we thank you guys for listening. I hope you connected with all these messages. I feel like we really went like deep into these thoughts today. Like
We did.
it was like an evolving conversation that had so many different
Layers.
sides that I really think everyone listening will find a way to connect to this. So
There's
please let
something
us
for
know.
everyone. There's definitely
Let
something
us
for everyone.
know how you've gotten rid of those pressures and what pressures you got rid of, because I can tell you my list is long too. And it's been through the years and it continues. And you get rid of one and then you realize there's another.
And that's
So
life, babe. And that is
yeah,
life. We have to
but
accept
but
that.
but like you said, we're aware. We're aware
Self-love.
and we're working on it.
And that's the best we could do every day. Just show
Mhm.
up and work on those pressures and put that energy into yourself. By
Yeah.
putting that energy into yourself, you're inspiring people you don't even realize to be better themselves. And that is a domino effect of making the world a better place.
I am for sure that you are already doing that with the way that you post and share your thoughts and your growth with people.
You.
So
Thank you.
I'm inspired over here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We send you lots of love and light
And
and joy
laughs.
and laugh. Always laugh. Bye.
Bye.
Did I close it?
Nope.
No. One more time. We're doing desktops now. We're doing different we're sending energy. That was some amazing energy. Thank